Rogers State University is located just outside NTC. Could it possibly be haunted? To find out, we went to the RSU TV and radio station, which has had reports of paranormal activity on the campus. Hello.
Hi.
So how long have you worked here?
21 years.
21 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever seen anything weird here?
Not exactly.
Or heard?
I've talked to people who have,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of times I stayed here overnight, and
Yep.
you hear noises off and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Once I was in master control, and it sounded like someone saying my name right behind me.
Well.
There was nobody there, but you know, who knows what that was.
Hmm.
But this area where we are, this
Mm-hmm.
basement, this
Mm-hmm.
used to be the gymnasium.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are stories of, back in the Oklahoma Military Academy days,
Yeah.
Cadets who took their own life. I've heard
Really?
like 3 distinct kinds of stories.
Hmm.
And I think some of them are far-fetched.
Hmm.
A colleague of mine has been down here working, and she said she'd be working at the switcher in the control room,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd feel someone come up behind her. She'd hear them, you know, like walking up to them,
Huh.
and you know, and then she turned around and no one was there.
Hmm.
One of my students
Yep.
went into a room that was a shower room over here,
Mm-hmm.
and she was coming out. She felt something pull her hair,
Huh.
and the people I'm talking about are not the type, you know, to make stuff up or,
Yeah.
you know, be silly about it. I haven't personally
Yes.
experienced any of these, but those are the stories.
Although we found no activity, we found a rich history of military activity which may live on today. The second place we visited was the Belvedere Mansion, which is one of the oldest homes in Claremore, built right before statehood, and has been reported by many people who have extreme haunted activity. Ask you some questions.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
How long have you been working here?
Year and a half.
Okay. Have you seen any weird things here?
I've heard things.
What kind of things?
Walking up the stairs, but it was nothing.
Huh.
I don't believe in ghosts, but you know,
Yeah.
things happen. And I've heard voices in here when I was ready to close out and come back in here. Thought I left somebody in here and nobody here. So I don't know. I don't believe in ghosts, like I said. But
Okay.
there are things happen that we can't explain.
This lady walks in and Betty greeted her,
Yeah.
and when she did, well, this lady said, well, the gentleman on the porch has already said something to me about the house. And Betty peeked out there like that, and she said, what gentleman? And she said, well, that fella sitting right there, sitting by the door in a chair. Betty said, Ruth, said she looked like she's okay, so I just didn't say nothing to her. We had the guest book on that table right there in that corner at that time, and I had hung the family picture on the wall just above it. Well, she signed the guest book, and she looked up and she told Betty, said, well, that's the man that's sitting on the porch. Well, that was Mr. Bayless. He's been dead since 1907.
Yeah.
And Betty said, oh, really? Betty said, Ruth, I felt the hair just raise up back on the back of my neck. I said, I asked her then, I said, well, what did he say to you? She said, he said he was so happy the way you folks are taking care of his house.
The town of Claremore has some very interesting history, from military bases to old houses to graveyards to all sorts of things. You never know what could be in your town, and you never know where you might find a ghost. Thank you, Rogers County Historical Society, RSU, Belvedere, and East for Haunted Oklahoma.